Wholesaling, lease options, mastermind. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning session. If you can hear me okay, please go ahead and confirm in the go-to webinar control panel. If you can see the screen clearly, go ahead and verify that as well. We'll do a mic and audio test here with our other panelists just to make sure we can get some questions covered here this morning. I'll do a quick recap. Yep, definitely cover some of the questions that we had covered. Review some of the questions we had already addressed here during the week, and see if we have any scenarios, marketing questions, or deals that we need to move forward there with you guys. So if you have anything urgent, if you have a clarification, could be something as simple as maybe you watched one of the training videos and you were looking to clarify a certain concept or practice. Yeah, you can enter those in as well. It doesn't have to be a specific deal for structuring. Okay, so good morning again to everybody. Hey Bill, how are things going on your end?
Hey Gail, things are great. Yeah, I'm looking at your questions. I think those are the ones we already addressed.
Yes.
I think earlier.
These are the questions we covered, I believe, on the other day. So we addressed a couple of scenarios. Number one, anyone ever run into this situation? I got a contract 2 weeks ago, two sellers, both on the deed, but sadly one has passed away. So a couple practical things practical ways to approach this scenario, what to look out for, and cover your bases. We also reviewed and shared a couple virtual phone number companies that do have some pretty robust features for those of you that are looking to scale up. If you're just getting started, Google Voice is a great place to start. It's free, it's economical. Technically, when you're just starting out as well, we don't necessarily recommend you do your own text marketing, because that can be very time consuming regardless of what marketplace you are in, right? I mean, why would you spend an hour of copy paste sending text emails out of Google Voice when you can easily very well just pick up the phone, call those for sale by owner ads directly, pre-screen them, and find somebody there that is motivated or on the fence that you can lay out some options or simply follow up over the next few weeks, months, and add them to your sales funnel, right? Also gave you guys some tips and feedback on how we would address the code enforcer situation, and I know that happens pretty often too. So code enforcers, definitely play ball. Try not to piss them off or upset them to the point where they are compelled to now take action and start dropping some fines on you, right? So Bill, any scenarios or questions you were fielding here throughout the week over the last couple of days from some of the one-on-ones that you have with investors and the students you're structuring some deals for?
Yeah, just one tip is when you're dealing with inherited type properties, and especially when you're dealing with people in their 60s and 70s and 80s, they grew up, doing relationships with people. They don't know about texting and emails and, social media and all that stuff. They do business face to face and belly to belly. So if you're going to be working with those kinds of sellers, you're better served, if at all possible, either if you're operating virtually to get some boots on the ground and somebody that can go sit down and have a cup of coffee with these folks, or go meet with them yourself and get them to like and trust you and create a relationship with you, and then they're willing to consider seriously anything that you have to offer once they like and trust you. And so a lot of the inherited and probate properties are going to be in that kind of a situation. So just keep that in mind when you're dealing with those kinds of properties. Back to you, Gil.
Nice. Bill, do you guys have a pretty, on looking up some addresses here, somebody had a follow-up question on that scenario we reviewed where two people are on title. Unfortunately, one has already passed away and they can't get a hold of the other person. Are you guys able to look in your local county to try to get some sort of address? Is that even a good place to start? Or you guys immediately skip trace? Like here in LA County, there are a couple of recorders offices that actually have an online search available, and you do have to pay per search. But I've heard of other markets where you can do this all for free, and that's pretty cool. In your area, do you guys are you able to actually just go to the local offices like that, or are you having to skip trace using third-party vendors and tools?
Well, yeah, the first thing is our assessor's office has all of the information about ownership online for free. If you want additional information, getting a copy of the deed and that type of thing, then you'd have to go actually go down to the clerk's office, which is not a big deal. I mean, just drive down there and park, and they'll help you at the front desk. The next thing you do is go out to the neighborhood and knock on the doors on each side and across the street and see if anybody knows or has seen the owners that own that property. Tell them that you're interested in buying the property and wondered if they might be able to help you out. And a lot of times, if you can get that one nosy neighbor that knows everything that's going on in that part of the neighborhood, then they'll be able to direct you as to who you need to call, or where the person lives, or what their address is, or when they come by, or something like that. But once you've exhausted all of those and obviously check on the internet and do initial research on the free sites, and once you've done all that and pretty well exhausted your detective work for free, then the next step, of course, would be to do some sort of skip tracing. Back to you.
Nice. So related to that, somebody here posted a question: what is the best to use for skip tracing, and which has the cheapest monthly rate? So I don't think you can get the best for the cheapest. I mean, the highest quality online skip tracing, somewhat the Rolls Royce of skip tracing and gathering, forwarding information, phone numbers, next of kin that we've come across is either Accurate.com or TLO.com. They have some pretty detailed requirements and a procedure for you to actually get an account with them. So you've got to have a physical location. That's number one. You will need to send in proof of your lease at that location. You have to have addresses related to that. You have to have a dedicated phone number, a hard line, or to the office, which they will call and verify over the phone as well, right? And unless you're doing a major bulk search, it is more it's a paper search type of feature, so that one you're really not going to get for very cheap. Skip tracing I find to be more effective, or will do it when there's really a ton of mail that comes back. So you would have to be sending out a lot of marketing, a lot of direct mail in order to make it worthwhile. Otherwise you're not able to play the numbers in your favor. You don't have enough volume coming out where it just doesn't justify the cost, or allows that particular campaign to get you to a deal quicker, right? So the cheapest that I found are sites like peoplefinders.com. They charge a flat rate monthly fee. It's about anywhere from $15 to $49 on a monthly basis. Those sites, on the other hand, you can do an unlimited search. And because it's an unlimited search, flat rate fee every month, they tend to be surface level results or data, right? They're not necessarily the most accurate. They can be very not very detailed at all, or you'll probably only get maybe one or two pieces of info, maybe one or two phone numbers and one or two other addresses that are on there, right? Those systems also run off of a generic search. So when they name match, right, if they'll really target every person with the same first name, last name, or if it has a common last name, it'll pull everything in as a search result, right? With the more detailed skip tracing and searching sites, you're actually able to put in additional filters or more pieces of information to narrow it down so that it's very specific. And if you're looking for the one and only John Doe, if it's John R. Doe, then it allows you to literally scale down or get very detailed in your particular search. So definitely check those sites out. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, it's not a high priority, especially if you're getting started out, because you would still have to be sending out your direct mail. So practical ways to approach that, maybe you just wait a few days or wait a couple weeks. Send out your direct mail campaign. Let a good number of set aside a bunch of postcards, a bunch of sticky notes, or a bunch of yellow letters until maybe you have about 50 to 100, and that way you can, spend a good half hour to a full hour doing your own skip tracing, or just hire somebody by the hour to run your skip tracing search, right? So for those of you that are bootstrapping, that makes more sense, since you don't have, you've got like 10 addresses to search, where quote unquote it's not worth your time, and it's not, a project that you can easily hire somebody else for, right?
What was the second one after Accurant? I didn't get that.
TLO.com.
It's Tom Lima Oscar.
Tom Lima Oscar, yes.
TomLimaOscar.com.
Yes, that's the one.
TLO, okay. TLO. Also, another one is, Cameron Dunlap is the oldest and best at doing this. He's been doing it for over 10 years. FindTheSeller.com. I mean, he's a real estate investor, and he buys and sells properties, and he's got various other businesses, and one of them is, skip tracing for sellers. And he's probably got, he uses Accurant and all the other ones. So every, he uses the same kind of research tools that the police use. So if he can't find them, nobody can. So FindTheSeller.com. And, you can pay, just for one search. Obviously, it's a lot more to pay for one search than if you buy a package. But you can, pay for just one search and decide whether or not that service is good for you. And then later on buy one of the packages if you're doing it on a regular basis and the free stuff isn't working for you. FindTheSeller.com. Cameron Dunlap.
Nice. Definitely check those out. And so, over time, like with any vendor that we use, any third-party resources that we have in our Rolodex or in our Black Book, we try to build and add different contacts to them, because there's certain places, even something as simple as lists, right? Yes.
Hi there. I have something very special to share with you.
That would help.
If you'd like to enter your email into the box to my side, you'll gain instant access right now.
May have a lot of duplicates in there as well, but there's going to be some unique addresses, and that's really what you're looking for, right? So with skip tracing services, I mean, if you're part of our members, our Facebook group, we have a long list of skip tracing services and companies that you can check out. I think there's at least 5 vendors there. I want to even say maybe 8 plus vendors. So definitely do check that out. If you have a pending request, I think Takia, I see you on the session. Welcome. It's your first one. We'll make sure to approve it on the session here today, right? Cool. All right. So here's a scenario that pops up, right? Especially if you're sending out your offers. It's that awkward phase where you're just waiting for it to come back and you want to follow up, but you don't know what to do. So here's what was posted. Stuck in a situation on 3 killer deals where I'm dealing with a middle person who isn't on title. He's not the husband, not the daughter. So I'm assuming husband and daughter's on title. On all deals, we have agreed on prices verbally, and I've given them the paperwork to the person who actually needs to sign. Okay, here we go. This is a bit of a yellow flag already. Interesting. And now I just wait. Follow up and wait. Just sign or tell me you're not going to already. This part of the game always puts me in a funk. Bill, what's your take on this one? I think I can poke a couple holes through it, or at least, some proceed with caution, and I think this could definitely be handled a little bit better. But what are your initial thoughts on this scenario right here?
Well, I always try to find out, who's going to be making decision, or I ask something like, how do you folks make decisions? What's your decision-making process? Well, we need to talk to our dad, or we need to talk to our attorney, or the guy that makes the decisions is Joe the uncle, or whoever it is. You need to find out when you're making offers and you get real serious about it, who's going to make the decisions on the sale of the property. And so if it's not the person you're talking to, then endeavor to get in front of the people that make the decisions. Because if you're talking to somebody that's unexperienced in real estate, how in the world are they going to be able to interpret what you're saying and explain it to somebody else? The answer is they're not, and chances are you're never going to get your deal done anyway. So always try to get in front of the people that are going to be making the final decisions. It's not always possible, but always endeavor to do that. You got a much better shot of getting your deal done if you're in front of the person that's going to make the decision. Back to you.
Sorry, had myself on a self-mute there for a couple seconds. Now, Bill, see, on this one, though, if you notice that they're talking to a middle person, so I'm wondering, like, who is this middle person, right? Because they're not on title, so the first thing I'd be thinking of is, why are you even talking to this person, right? And there are some scenarios where, you know, let's say all three siblings are on title, okay? But there's an aunt in the family that's still alive. And even though all three of the siblings are still on title, they still look towards, so let's say it's Aunt Jenny, right? Aunt Jenny's the real decision maker here. She's the influencer that, the transaction has to be okayed or run by, or she's like the family advisor. Or she could be that one annoying person that just tries to control everything in a situation and overpowers everybody, right? So it's one of those similar scenarios. But if you're dealing with a middle person, I'm wondering, you know, I hope this is somebody that can definitely help close and move a deal forward for you. Now, if this is a middle person, how are they getting paid is what I'm thinking, right? Do you guys have agreements in place? Have you talked verbally amongst yourselves? And is there a reasonable expectation that all parties involved are going to get paid? Sorry about that, guys. I thought the slides were already updated. You guys, I just hit refresh. You should be able to see the screen. Yes, exactly. So, when are you guys all involved in the deal and getting paid? Now, for this middle person, if I'm dealing with a wholesaler or I'm partnering up with a property scout or a bird dog who knows what they're doing, they know how to get stuff under contract and they know how to wholesale, then I would be comfortable, or I would consider letting them take the lead on the deal. If this is somebody that has no experience and I or you are the one that ends up having to educate and coach them on the document that needs to be signed and how to explain the numbers, then I would not be comfortable letting that person take the lead on the deal. I would prefer to take the lead on it myself, because I or somebody on my team, one of my acquisitions, would be more experienced. They have a better closing ratio, and they're more likely to convert it at the end of the day. Exactly, Jenny. So if they're more likely to convert it, then I'll let that person handle it, or I'll take it up on myself as well. You might have to make sure, put something on paper or in writing, or at least put an extra layer of security for all parties involved, especially if it's their lead. But just make sure that they understand the situation. And if we're talking 3 killer deals, then the more I would prefer we place this in the hands of somebody who's experienced and capable and can get everybody paid, as opposed to nobody else getting paid, especially if it's a killer deal. We were reviewing some member scenarios last month where we're looking at 10K wholesale deals and lease option assignment fees that were being canceled, that were falling through because the deals were not cared for, or they weren't being they could have been handled, right, with more security, with more love and attention, or hand holding, call it what you want, right? Also with this particular person, I mean, you're providing the documents, you're providing the experience. They may be bringing in a lead or a deal, but for me, that's still how I would handle it, because we're talking 3 killer deals here. 3 killer deals. Let's see, what else? Now, in the follow-up sequence, now here's an interesting one too. If you notice, they say I follow up and wait, right? This part of the game always puts me in a funk. That kind of gives clues as to the type of business that they're running or how busy it is. If you send out an offer and you are just waiting to hear back from that one seller, chances are you could very well do more marketing, or you need to be making more outbound phone calls, Okay, so there really shouldn't be a time in your business where you have nothing to do if you are just starting out. If you are under 5 to 7 transactions per month or closings per month, then you definitely have some time on your hands, and there are stuff that you could be doing. At the very least, you can very well be making calls off of for sale by owner websites. And that leads to the next question on here. Do you get a better response by calling seller leads of vacant homes or mailing them a letter first? Bill, what's your guys' take on this? You guys have sent out some direct mail with some of the new students recently, and some of the investors you consult and do deals with just call off of Craigslist, including licensed brokers. So what's your feedback on that one, since you see both sides of marketing channels from different types of investors that are wholesaling or doing creative financing deals?
Well, you should be doing both. You should be, if you can get a good list of vacant houses, excuse me, obviously those people have the possibility of being the most motivated, especially if they have a mortgage on the house. They're in pain every time they have to make a payment on the first of the month. So certainly mailing out to those folks should be a priority list. You're generally not going to have their phone numbers unless you're able to look them up somehow. Now, if they call you back, I mean, that's a great lead, and you should be able to convert that in most circumstances. But at the same time, unless you've got an overwhelming amount of leads coming in from your direct mail and marketing, you should be still doing additional marketing. You should be making phone calls to for sale by owners and for rents and things like that to see if you can, generate additional business that way. So I would recommend that people do both. But certainly, working with houses that have been on the market 90 days or longer, houses that are vacant, that's a great strategy, and it should be something that you employ in your market in addition to the other things that you're doing. Back to you.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you really shouldn't have that downtime. Next week, we are anticipating sending out at least 5 offers. Most people spend like 6 months, are in the space for 6 months and don't send a single offer. We like to send an offer on every lead that comes through the door. If we can't get a hold of the owner, we'll still mail them an offer just to see some signs of life or to get a reaction out of them, right? There's no science that goes into it. We'll try to comp it as best as we can, right? We'll try to comp it as best as we can. But what we're going for here are the sellers that, they just don't want to pick up the phone, but they are really looking to sell. They're in a dire situation, or something in their situation has changed. It's like direct mail, guys. Even the brain, the mastermind behind the We Buy Ugly Houses franchise, okay, Tim H. And I haven't. When I sat down with him during an expo, he flat out said there is no silver bullet when it comes to direct mail. Copy, I mean, really, even he doesn't think copy plays a difference on it. When it comes to direct mail, keep it very simple. You just want it to come, get into their hands at that time that they are ready to sell or have a true motivation or have some problems. That's it. It's really just a timing thing. That's why you got to send out your mail consistency so that you can be there at the right time and at the right place for that to happen. Right. Somebody was asking something about lists. Here we go. Just curious what program people are using to print out addresses of vacant homes. I'm using RealQuest, and it's too expensive. The cheapest, freest source we've come across are lists that your title and escrow company can provide to you. I think it's more of title companies that do that, actually. I've come across investors, brokers that can get lists from their title companies. I think there was a period especially in the heyday of real estate, right? This was one way that title companies were using these lists as lead magnets. That's how they were bringing in people and getting customers and prospects. They would give you a list in hopes of you doing business with them when you do have a deal, right? Now, the quality of those lists can be very, very iffy. Like with any vendor, the only way for you to find out and have 100% peace of mind and answer whatever question you have is to test it. and to test it long enough over a long enough period of time so you can get some accurate results and decide to scale up, scale down, put it on hold, or switch out to another source, another vendor, another marketing cycle or marketing piece, right? Ultimately, you will have to test it. There's RealQuest, Lance and Terry are great friends of Bill. If you call them, drop some names, let them know Bill Rafter had sent you, Gil from his marketing and mastermind webinars and groups sent you over. And if the list is available, then great, you'll be able to get it. Chances are it's already being sold to somebody else because they have a small pool of people that they offer it to. And it's not a mass market type of list, but the price points are higher, right? Other vendors that I'm trying to think of, ListSource is one of them. I've heard stuff about ListSource, and there was a list company that we had bought a list from recently. Let me see. I'm just taking a stab in the dark here. Type list in my Gmail account, see if anything pops up, but that is going to be far-fetched.
Is it Listability? Was that one of them?
Yeah, Listability. That's another one that you guys can check out. Listability, exactly. That's another one. Bill, any other list sites that you can recommend or have come across that people are using in today?
Well, I think, remember Eric was on our call, and I think he had some specialized lists.
That's right. Get a hold of Eric Infinite Torrente. I think he's going to have me on his podcast next week, sometime next week. So I'll send you guys details if you want to catch that, share that, or pass it on to somebody else. But he does sell lists that are unique and... unique. I think you can even get like marriage, divorce type based lists. It all depends on the marketplace. So definitely hit him up on Facebook. He's most active on Facebook, and I think that's the way he
Melissa Data
primarily does business. Melissa Data is another one. That's another good one. I used to use this a lot in a B2B campaign. If you guys are planning door-to-door or canvassers to spread the We Buy Houses message, post signage, or hand out flyers, Melissa Data works nicely with that too, since you can plan your routes. It's a very detailed. It's one of those sites that can get extremely detailed, so there's a lot of filters on them. Sometimes the easiest and the most efficient way to go about this, if you feel overwhelmed, is to call their sales department, let them know what you're trying to do and what assistance, and they'll do their best to help you out. And most of the vendors in real estate are willing to have a conversation and to at least hear you out and find out how they can best move you forward, right? That's really how you got to be open, you got to be flexible, make some adjustments. If you guys are trying to get some killer deals or you're not quite sure about the source, ask them, hey, I'm actually interested in doing business with you guys, and we'd love to test out this new lead source for us, or this new list, or be able to run a campaign for the next 3 months. Is there any way we can get a new customer discount, a one-time discount, right? Or something that we can test. Maybe even something that I could present to my boss, right? You might have to pull the boss line on it, even though you are the boss, right? So let's see. I think there might be one last scenario before we need to jump off today. Skip tracing, boom, best response rate. No, I think we covered all the scenarios. Steve, go ahead and jump on. I know we have Takia that's part of the group coaching now, and so wanted to make sure you guys are able to connect and work out some sort of leads transfer. Anything urgent on the group coaching side?
Urgent? No, I think we're all good. I'm going camping, so pretty much everything's automated for the week already. So if anything urgent comes up today, I'll be panicking.
So I know the biggest things to roll out. There were a couple of new campaigns that we needed to get going. I think after that, let's just you'll be out for the week, so letting you know what needed to be handled and make sure you got all your systems and your teams in place. So good stuff.
How should I put Takaya into the workspace? Access to the calls account, or can I just add her in on her own, which is what I would prefer?
I would think you don't want to start off with a Google Docs file.
We can, but all the leads I have for the market I was planning are inside of Podio.
Gotcha. Let's try adding in the workspace, since that's the preferred way. And then if that doesn't work out, we'll make some adjustments afterwards.
All right, sounds good. And I just got notice one of our gold members that our sales team does pre-screening for got a property under contract from that, so he's really excited.
Nice. So for those of you that are in the market looking for a team to pre-screen, we do pre-screening calls. Price point wise, it's pretty economical. I mean, the going rate is $400 to $800. Also factor in how long it's going to take you to hire somebody halfway around the world, and you got to comb through resumes. So just make sure you consider all that as you make your decision. Glad to hear. It looks like we just sent out another contract for one of the investors that we market for. So good stuff. All right, guys. We won't have a session tomorrow. I will be traveling myself. I'll be flying out onto the East Coast. I'm going to be in Tampa. So if you guys are in Tampa and want to hang out, I'll be meeting with some geniuses out there. This coming August, we got some stuff going on out here in Santa Monica. Mark Evans is coming out. So if you guys haven't heard of Mark Evans, don't know him, you definitely have to check out his stuff. He's I have a handful of educators in real estate. I don't want to call them gurus, educators in real estate that pass on great quality and content, quality training, and actually do deals, right? So a lot of the folks out there looking for educators, make sure these folks are active doing deals. So Mark Evans is going to be coming out. We're going to be hanging out here in Los Angeles, and he is hosting his, he calls it a deal-a-thon. And it's just going to be a weekend packed with deals. So check with Mark's office. I do not have an affiliate thing going on with him. I just love to promote his stuff since I am a big follower and fan of his content as well. But he will be coming out if you guys are trying to check out his stuff. What else we got going on? Our land workshop in San Diego has been moved to September. So do make your adjustments, and we'll catch you guys for that in September. Okay, Scott Ford, did you get my reply? The website is not findaseller.com. He typed on here, that website's for sale. The website is findtheseller.com. So Bill typed in the link here for everyone. Do reference that, and I'm going to reshare that with everyone. What up, David? DD, how's it going? I know you're looking for somebody to pre-screen some leads for you.
You missed him last night, Bill. He came out to cash flow with us last night.
Oh, really? We've been playing phone tag or meeting tag. I think he's been trying to come out there, but he services the entire.
Yeah, it kind of came out too.
Nice. So he services LA County, works with handles some pretty big accounts for the city. So glad to hear you. So finally able to make it out. Finally, says David. All right. So with that, guys, thanks for jumping on. No session tomorrow. I will be up in the air. I'm taking the red eye tonight, and so I will be flying. We will not have any training sessions tomorrow, so we're going to clear the entire Friday. That includes any group coaching calls and support. We will have support today, and it will be at 3 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. If you guys have any Podio questions, marketing questions, if you want to listen in on some live calls, that would be the session for you. Okay? So thank you very much, everybody. Have a fantastic day. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will see you all next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.